Hi, my name's Parker. I am a junior at Northern Waters. This is my sixth year at Northern Waters, and this is my 11th ILP. This time, my ILP is on art, history, and storytelling and mythology. And my central question is, how is art and storytelling used in mythology, and how can I write and illustrate my own mythological story? The reason why I chose mythology is because mythology and fantasy worlds have always had an influence on me as a creative person. And I believe that there's much I can learn from analyzing the art and storytelling used in various mythologies. Learning about these things will improve my artistic visual library, teach me about storytelling techniques, and will expand my knowledge of world culture. Through this project, my main goal is to answer the question of how is art and storytelling used in various mythologies, and how can I write and illustrate my mythological story? There are countless mythological tales within the world of storytelling. Many of these stories, which we refer to as myths today, were religious, and many people of the times actually believed these stories. The origin of religion and mythology is somewhat unclear. However, it seems that it's a way for people to morally bind themselves or to feel as if they're part of a group. University of Virginia psychologist Jonathan Haidt, PhD, and his former graduate student Jesse Graham say that religion is built upon five moral principles, which are do no harm, play fairly, be loyal to your group, respect authority, and live purely. According to TED, people couldn't understand the terrible things that they saw or experienced within the natural world, so they would create stories which would give them explanations. One of the more famous examples is the legend of the Minotaur within Greek mythology. According to the legend, the Minotaur lives in an inescapable labyrinth beneath the palace of King Minos. It has an intense bloodlust and such a destructive roar that it shakes the ground above. While there may not have been any human bull hybrids or a great labyrinth ever found, there may be some scientific truth to the tale. Some of the retellings of the Minotaur don't even include a physical description of it, but there's one thing that all of these retellings agree upon, and that is that the Minotaur lives underground and that when it roars, it causes immense destruction. The way that we can derive science from the legend is by analyzing the seismic activity of the island where the legend is said to take place, which is Crete. Crete sits upon a piece of continental crust known as the Aegean Block and has a bit of oceanic crust known as the Nubian Block, right underneath the Aegean Block. They slide against each other, and this sort of geological feature is common all across the world and is called a subduction zone, and it results in many earthquakes. However, Crete's Nubian Block is connected to the massive continental crust, which is Africa. So that means when it does rub against the Aegean Block, it does so quickly and violently, and it sends sections of the Mediterranean upward in an event known as uplift. And Crete is an uplift central. In the year 2014 alone, Crete experienced over 1,300 earthquakes of magnitude 2.0 or higher. For reference, Southern California, a place with much larger land area than Crete, experienced a mere 255 earthquakes. Though we may not have detailed record of seismic activity from the days of King Minos, we do know from fossil records and geological evidence that Crete used to experience devastating uplift events, sometimes lifting 30 feet in a single moment. With these legends, all of them hold some sort of truth. TED director Matt Kaplan describes science and mythology as being two sides of the same coin, with both trying to explain unexplainable things. With mythology, we use gods, teachings, and legends, while science uses research, measurements, and experiments. With this knowledge and deeper understanding, I believe that I can now confidently write and illustrate my own mythological story using elements from fantasy, folklore, and mythology, all entwined in their own way. For my product, I wanted to create something mythological while tying it back to my interests. My product should reflect on the use of mythology and storytelling to explain the unexplainable. The Minotaur provides an explanation to unfortunate natural disasters, and I wanted to create a short myth that would provide an explanation to unfortunate current events. My product is the creation of my own mythological deity, a goddess known as Dempsey. The name Dempsey is of Irish origin and means proud or naughty. Dempsey can be seen as a hint to Ares in Greek mythology. Ares is the Greek goddess of strife and discord and takes pleasure in the division of groups, both among men and gods. In my product, Dempsey is the goddess of betrayal, chaos, and warfare. She takes great pleasure in playing manipulative games with mortals, simply to observe how they will react. According to the myth, there are all the patterns of moral and political divide among men have been orchestrated by Dempsey. She's also a master of understanding human nature and can predict how people will react to unfortunate situations with high accuracy. She creates division only to test her theories. In her appearance, she lacks the iris and pupils of her eyes. Those who look into her eyes will only see a reflection of themselves, but will later experience some sort of moral division of their lives, a sort of Medusa type situation. Mythology will always have a great influence on the fantasy genre and a large historical impact on both art and storytelling. As an artist, there is much I have learned from analyzing these mythological stories and the artistic depictions of these stories. From doing this mythological research and from creating Dempsey, I can safely say that doing this project has expanded my visual library and has given me experience with creating an original story.